I have a lot of very big expectations for the band, but I mean, for the time being, I think we're really going to focus on putting out more stuff, especially now that Neil and I live near, the studio. Like, it gives us more flexibility as far as writing and doing stuff like that. So I think that's probably the main thing. We definitely want to get out, play shows where we haven't played before, but I think a lot of it is just continuing to set ourselves apart from other bands. That's something I've been really mindful of, is I don't want to sound like this I don't want to sound like other bands in our area or other bands that we play with. Like, I want to bring something that's different, just because, not for any real reason. I just want to do something different. That's kind of how I've always thought about it and wanted to do something unique. And most of the bands that I listen to, or a lot of the bands I listen to now that I take a lot of influence from, kind of have their own style or their own thing that makes them that band, and they're not, another band. So.
Twice.
Yeah.
It was just me hearing something, but you do the bop, bop, 3 times, and then maybe on the 4th time, ba-da-da-da. I don't know. Just maybe half of that, but yeah.
So I think that with every release that we've done, we've become pretty drastically different. From the time that we started Rain Check, we had a pretty clear vision of what we were going for. It's just kind of taken some time to really get there, and I think that with this new recording that we've been doing this time, I think that we're finally getting where we want to be. But it's cool to hear from when we started a little over a year ago to where we are now, to hear the progression that we've hit. I think that it's going to be pretty evident of how much we've changed. But we've gotten a lot darker. We've gotten a lot heavier than we were. The pop punk isn't really in our sound anymore. And I think that overall it sounds a lot more mature than it has before. And I'm really happy with it. So.
I got it. Bro, you're playing the same notes. You're going from this same note to this one, and back to this one. Or you're just doing it higher. Yeah. Alright, sick. I'm a simple man.
And I mean, from the get-go, even before we had released full band music, we had overwhelming support from our friends and fellow members of the small Abilene music scene. And so we were stoked for that support starting out. Even before we had released the EP, we played a few shows. And we played one show, and I don't know if everyone listened really well or what. And I don't know if that would have even helped, because we played in a house, in the house I live in. So the sound was probably terrible. And then the next show we played, people were singing our lyrics, and we were just like, what the fuck? It was crazy. And so we just had support nonstop from our local scene, our friends. and fellow musicians.
I don't know. It's been kind of weird because we've gone through a couple of different phases, I guess. Whenever we first started, it was kind of more pop punk oriented, but we were all trying to kind of not necessarily break away from that, but actually get to write just what we felt, I guess. Because all of the instrumentalists in this band, of course, we were all in a band together before, and we just really didn't have the freedom to do that in that one. So I guess we kind of just more started to morph into our own style, and I mean, hell, we don't even really know what that is yet. Can we double things and then come back to that? Sweet. Third, there's three. Oh, third, yeah, you're right, you're right.
Honestly, I think the way we started out was more of angry sounding. It was definitely bitter sounding. I'd say that we've kind of grown in. I think our sound has changed into it's more mature sounding. I think that with the song that we just recorded today, I feel like the overall emotion that I'm trying to put out is like everyone kind of feels the day-to-day grind. You know, I try to make it something that everyone could relate to, and it's specific in its own way for me, but also like other members of the band relate to it in different ways. And I think that, you know, just day-to-day life kind of sucks sometimes, especially in my town. It's very it's like a black hole. It like drains the life out of you just being there. And I think it really takes a toll over time. So I think that's just kind of what this song is about, is just, you know, how every day nothing seems to change. I can't, you know, seem to hit the goals that I set for myself, or I can't seem to make enough money to pay my bills. It's, you know, it's just kind of whatever it means to you. But I think that's just the overall message is like, you know, it just kind of sucks sometimes, and that's just how it is. So